Windows. We all have them. They provide beauty, character, light, and ventilation to places we live, but they can also provide danger, especially to young children.
Child window falls injure and kill children each year. Safe Kids Worldwide, in their February 2015 report to the nation, Protecting Children in Your Home, says an average of 8 children under the age of 5 die each year due to window falls. It goes on to say that 3,300 children suffer injuries each year. Those injuries range from broken bones to permanent brain injury.
These numbers only represent the falls that are serious enough to enter the trauma system or emergency room stats each year. Many numerous go undocumented, and even some deaths end up in different categories. The most important thing to remember is that child window falls are predictable, therefore preventable.
In rooms where people sleep, windows have 2 key functions. So important are these functions that building and residential codes offer specific criteria about the size, location, and function of windows to ensure they serve these 2 functions. The first function for a window in a sleeping room is that it serves as a secondary means of emergency escape, the door being the primary means. Therefore, it must be of minimum size and configuration to be suitable. The second function is that it serves as a means of emergency access from the outside, typically meaning firefighters during an emergency need to be able to use it to access the structure. This also requires a minimum size and configuration.
Is it possible to balance child safety with a window designed to provide emergency escape and access by the firefighters? It is, and the necessary safety aspects can be built into a window, added to a newly built window, or retrofitted to an existing window. Let's explore the possibilities.
When talking about child window safety, it is important to understand that children are the intended target. Like lighters or pill bottles, window screens can also be designed to be child resistant, yet still allow easy operation by an adult. While residential and building codes address windows in residences, the ASTM standard offers the most detailed definitions of window safety devices. ASTM stands for the American Society for Testing and Materials. Established in 1898, they are a global forum for establishing the development and publication of international voluntary consensus standards for materials, products, systems, and services. Their F2090 standard speaks directly to child window fall prevention and fall prevention devices, and was established because of input from the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
The children at greatest risk and those intended to be protected from falls are those age 5 and under. Why these children? Several reasons.
Children the age of 5 and under have small bodies and large heads. Because of this, a situation where their head can exert leverage over their body can contribute to a fall. If they are looking at a window or in an elevated position, like climbing on a piece of furniture near a window, the child can lose their balance and fall in a way from which they cannot recover. Young children are also at a point of physical development where their strength and dexterity are such that they can be protected by devices that combine both strength and dexterity to operate. Examples are child-resistant medication containers or child-resistant lighters. Young children also lack the intellectual development to understand cause and effect. In other words, telling them that climbing on furniture near a window or leaning against a screen may lead to injury or death are not effective arguments to discourage their behavior. They simply cannot link together the kind of thinking that moves from one outcome to the next. Perhaps most importantly, if a young child without the understanding of cause and effect and lacking the strength to perform escape actions were to attempt an emergency escape from an upper-level window, it is quite likely they would fall and suffer injury or death in a failed escape attempt. As always, the safety of young children, especially in the event of a fire, is largely in the hands of the supervising adult. With this in mind, let's look at the strategies for safeguarding windows from child falls.
What are window safety devices? Let's explore 3 different methods to make a window safe for young children.
Safety screens are a specialized device that fits into new windows or retrofits an existing window. Normal window screens have a basic function of keeping insects out while the window is open. A normal screen has a nylon or light metal mesh held into an aluminum frame. Safety screens are a more robust design and intended to provide a level of strength that can meet child safety standards while serving an aesthetically appropriate screen that also keeps insects out. It uses a steel mesh clamped into a steel frame to create a more rigid assembly. In the case of this Tough Tech safety screen, it has been tested to meet a concentrated load test of 60 pounds of static load and ASTM F2090-10 pendulum test of 100 foot-pounds of force applied against it without failure. It also exceeds HUD specification requirements for light-type security screens. Window guards are classified as fall prevention devices and are found inside the window. They consist of horizontal or vertical bars which are screwed into the inside window frame. The guards are released by depressing two separate spring-loaded pins and collapsing the telescoping tubes into themselves, reducing the size of the guard so it can be removed from the holding bars. In the case of this Angel Guard window guard, it meets the ASTM F2090-08 standard by withstanding a certain amount of force, limiting any opening in the window opening to less than 4 inches, and utilizing release mechanisms that require 2 motions to release the guard. Window opening control devices, or window stops, are devices that limit the ability of a window to open more than 4 inches. They are placed along the track of the window to block its sliding motion at a certain point. Window stops should not be confused with other devices that clamp onto the window track or otherwise block it to limit a window opening. These might be sold as window security devices, but they may not qualify as a window fall prevention device. In the case of this Kidco window stop, it meets the ASTM F2090-08 standard when applied in a way that limits the window opening to less than 4 inches, needs 2 motions to open it, and it automatically resets when the window is closed. It is also important to note that in a fire emergency, working smoke alarms placed in each sleeping room, in the hallway outside of sleeping rooms, and on each level of the home will most likely provide enough early warning to allow everyone in the home to escape out a door. In the rare occasion where that does not work, a closed bedroom door allows protection from a fire in another part of the house for a significant period of time while awaiting escape out the bedroom.
So, windows can be made safe and still allow for emergency escape. But what about emergency access? Can firefighters overcome these devices when they need to access a building through one of these windows? Let's see. The Longview Fire Department in Longview, Washington, put their firefighters to work on this question.
When we think of window fall prevention, it's kind of like pre-fire planning for any of our structures that we have. We need to know what we're going to encounter when we might come to some of these residences. And so our firefighters need to be prepared. They may see items like maybe a window stop, a window guard, or maybe even some of these new safety screens. And these are not tools that will keep us from doing our job. They're just tools we need to be aware of so we can do our job as best as possible.
Before we demonstrate how to overcome these different safety devices, it should be noted that many different window types are available and the application of window safety devices can vary. The examples shown here are typical window types and safety device applications. Fire service professionals should create their own procedure after reviewing the window types common in their own community.
Because safety screens are designed to be a stronger screen-to-frame assembly, forcing the screen fabric out of the frame may prove difficult. Safety screens are typically held in the window frame by a spring assembly, just like a regular screen. A finger pull will usually be found on the side opposite of the springs. Look for this loop and insert a prying tool or the blade of an axe between the window frame and the screen frame and pry it towards the springs to release the screen. The screen can now be pulled outward and be removed. If other means have been used to secure the safety screen, such as a piano hinge with internal release mechanisms, it may be necessary to cut through the screen and release it. Use the peen of an axe head to create a hole. Then use the blade of an axe to cut a slot into the screen in order to reach inside to release the screen or get a better grip and pull it outward. If the window is closed behind it, expect this method to break the glass, creating an additional hazard. To breach window guards, the firefighter must first open the window or clear the glass in the window frame. They can then reach in and release the spring-loaded pins and collapse the tubes of the guard into themselves for removal. In the event that the pins cannot be reached or activated, applying force towards the interior of the room at the lower corner of the guard will either break the guard or tear the mounting screws out, clearing the opening for access. Window stops may not be recognized until an attempt is made to slide the window open. When this is encountered, grasping the window by the frame and applying force against the stop will break it, allowing the window to slide fully open. The glass could also be broken and cleared from the frame to create an access opening.
Not all windows are dangerous to children. While any window can be, most often they are windows on the second floor or above, with views or attractions outside, such as a view of scenery, a park, or other children, with inside ledges or sills, or those with closely placed furniture that allow the children to climb on or around the window. A few steps can prevent tragedy. Keep windows closed and locked when they don't need to be open. Keep a clear safety zone around windows. Teach children to stay clear of windows. Install safety devices that fit your home and window type. Consider window safety devices on all upper level windows, not just in the child's room. Also consider the homes of babysitters and relatives where your child might stay. Children need your help to live a safe life. Child safety changes with the seasons and with your child's growth and development. Your child depends on you to keep pace with these changes and to maintain a safe environment in the home.